This is going to be my weekend wrap up, a Hell in a Cell review, and news and rumors on AEW, WWE, and any other updates for the NFL. Cody Rhodes tore his pec in a brawl on Monday Night Raw last week with Seth Rollins, and then that it was partially torn and then tore it completely off the bone on Friday and still managed to go through Hell in a Cell and get the win. John Cena is now teasing a return and feuding with Austin Theory in the US title. He posted on Instagram earlier today a picture of a boot standing on the United States Championship. His 20th anniversary is on June 27th, which is a Monday, and people are very, very excited for his possible return and feud with Theory. CM Punk is injured, has a broken foot, I believe, and will be stepping away. AEW, in the meantime, will have an interim world champion. More on that later. Windham Rotunda, formerly Bray Wyatt, changed his Twitter to Wyatt6 and has hinted he's ready to make his return to pro wrestling. And he's said wherever he does show up, he's going to remind everyone why we know his name. People immediately jumped on this to mean that he's going to return to the WWE, since he did change his name back to Wyatt6, and June 6th is tonight, which it will be a Monday Night Raw. So there's that possibility. I'm going to jump into Hell in a Cell reviewing that. I never made a picks video or whatnot, but I did post a pick prediction in Exceptional Sports News. Kicking off the show, this is the correct order since it did happen last night. The Raw Women's Championship Triple Threat, Bianca Belair versus Asuka versus Becky Lynch. My pick was Bianca Belair, and Bianca did win by pinning Asuka, that was my prediction. And now we're going to get the final chapter in this rivalry of Becky and Bianca, hopefully at Money in the Bank, and then she gets someone new at SummerSlam. The 2-on-1 handicap match, Omos and MVP versus Bobby Lashley. My pick was Bobby Lashley, and he did win, and that's all I really have to care to say about this match. The 6-person mixed tag match, Judgment Day versus Liv's Club. My pick was Judgment Day, and they did win. It was a great match overall. Liv and Rhea didn't really get much ring time, but was a fantastic match and very well done. Great chemistry with both teams, all 6 competitors. A no holds barred match, Madcap Moss versus Happy Corbin, the only SmackDown match on the card, which was added probably just because they wanted to have at least one SmackDown match on the card, would be my guess. Madcap was my pick, and he won. And other than them both being great in-ring competitors and workers, this build has been very, very boring, and I'm ready for it to move on and be done with it. The United States Championship match, Theory and Mustafa Ali. Theory was my pick, and he won. I was hoping at the end Cena would come out, but he didn't. And it was a decent match overall. I thought it could have been 50-50 booking because Mustafa Ali is from Chicago, but Theory is the youngest U.S. champ in the history of WWE, and now is Vince's new poster boy. So, of course, he's going to win and keep that title, but that just hopefully means that we are going to get him versus Cena. The main event, Hell in a Cell, Cody Rhodes versus Seth Rollins 3. This is it. This is the final one. And I was going with Cody to get the sweep. And then whenever the news broke about his torn pec, I thought Seth would maybe get the win. And for a while, I thought it was going to go that way, but Cody did get the win. And I think he's now definitely the guy and will be the guy to beat Roman. However, he is expected to miss 6 months of in-ring action because of this injury. He will need surgery, and he's going to be out for some time, and he will be addressing that tonight on Raw. But it was definitely a 5-star match, and match of the night will definitely be on there for match of the year candidates. AEW news on Friday on Rampage, CM Punk, this is when he announced that he has a broken foot, or he claimed that a wheel is broken, but it hasn't fallen off yet. And this is relating to whenever he debuted and said he's going to go until the wheels fall off. But he needs surgery, and he will be out for some time. And he offered to relinquish the world title, to which Tony Khan announced that there will be an interim champion for whenever Punk returns. There will then be a unification match. So this was announced later in the night. This Wednesday on Dynamite to kick it off, there will be a battle royale, and the winner will face Jon Moxley, who's the new #1 contender in the main event of Dynamite. The winner of that match will go to Forbidden Door and wait for the winner of an eliminator style match in New Japan Pro Wrestling. And then those two will face off at Forbidden Door for the interim AEW World Championship. And Jon Moxley is 7-0 in singles competition this year, which is why he was named the #1 contender, which had people very upset. Surprise, surprise. Dynamite last week, MJF came out and gave his own version of the pipe bomb, called Tony Khan a mark, and said a whole bunch of other things. And now people are confirming that this has been this is a work, even though the promo was fantastic. He called out big officials from Warner Bros. Media and TNT and TBS, saying that they were back there and he didn't want to embarrass Tony with his product and this and that, whatever. It was a great promo, and we haven't heard much from MJF since then. But AEW was quick to remove him from the roster, his merch from the shop, and much like WWE did with Sasha Banks and Naomi. And it's now been confirmed that officials from Warner Bros., TNT, and TBS are removing MJF from commercials and all things on their networks. And I do believe if MJF is fired from AEW, they don't have non-compete clauses, so he would be free to sign with anyone, being WWE. And I don't think they would waste any time. They would jump to sign him immediately, especially now with Cody being hurt and out for 6 months. Preview for Raw tonight, besides that Cody will speak on his injury, and Miz TV with Maurice tonight. That's really all I could find. My guess would be Riddle will be on at some point with the Usos and another ridiculous tag team mix-up, matchup, whatever. Other sports and news, Stephon Tuitt announced his retirement last week, longtime player for the Steelers. Tom Brady and Aaron Rodgers beat Patrick Mahomes and Josh Allen in the match. Robinson Cano is no longer with the Padres. I didn't even know he was with the Padres. He apparently went 3 for 33 with no extra base hits in the time that he was there. He was released by the Mets for earlier this season, before the season actually started. Penn State has announced that the whiteout game this year will be on October 22nd against Minnesota. I'm going to try and go to that and be there live. Dolph Ziggler. Penn State, the whiteout. This will also be the Generation of Greatness game, which they will wear their alternate uniforms and hopefully have the alternate end zones as well. Dolph Ziggler was seen on backstage at Dynamite last week, but that was only because of his younger brother being with them. Reviewing SmackDown from Friday, it was a pretty boring show. There was a 6-pack challenge to determine Ronda's next opponent. Raquel Rodriguez, Aaliyah, Natalya, Shayna Baszler, Shotzi, and Xia Li. Pretty much the entire women's division on SmackDown, plus Lacey Evans, who's now been added back from Raw. Her video packages were being shown on SmackDown for weeks, and then she came back on Raw, was supposed to be in action last week, and now is back to SmackDown. So that just shows that they know exactly what they're doing with that whole thing. Natalya won, and I almost fell asleep during the little face-off they had. I'm not excited or looking forward to that match at all whenever it happens. Madcap came back, and him and Corbin, their match was made for Hell in a Cell as a no-holds-barred match. Not very exciting. There were rumors of Cesaro returning to WWE, and I think they could be legit, since Max Dupree, formerly known as LA Knight, confirmed to Adam Pearce that he has the first signee of his Maximum Modeling blah, 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 and he'll be there on Friday. Hopefully this is Cesaro. And Xavier Woods posted on Instagram noting that the New Day has been feuding with Sheamus and his Brawling Brutes for 14 weeks now. This has been going on since before WrestleMania, and I saw them at SmackDown in Hershey back in February. This has been a long, boring storyline, and it needs to go. Even with the Butch going whatever and doing whatever he wants to do, I did see something about him comparing him to Hook in AEW, and I think Butch is more like the Tasmanian Devil, not Hook. But that's going to do it for this wrap up. Thanks for watching. Like and subscribe, and I'll see you next time.